All right, if you're managing any kind of modern IT infrastructure, you know that deploying vCenter is an absolutely fundamental skill. But the way we've been doing it for years, well, that's all changing. So let's dive right into the essential guide for getting vCenter up and running in 2026. Okay, first things first, let's be crystal clear about this. That old vCenter you used to install on a Windows server, yeah, that's officially a museum piece. As we head into 2026, vCenter is a lean, mean Linux-based appliance, and that's it. This isn't a choice anymore, It's the only way forward. So this big shift really puts us on a brand new quest. We've got to master the vCenter server appliance, or as you'll always hear it called, the VCSA. Getting a handle on what this thing is and how it works, well, that's step one on our little adventure. So what is the VCSA exactly? Well, it's not some piece of software you build from the ground up. The best way to think of it is like a prepackaged, perfectly tuned virtual machine. It's built to do one job, and do it incredibly well, managing your entire vSphere environment. This is your new command center. Now, before we even dream of clicking that install button, we need to talk about preparation. And I'm serious here. I'd say about 90% of a successful, headache-free vCenter deployment happens before you even start. This pre-flight checklist is the difference between a smooth launch and a total mission failure. This checklist is our foundation. First up, you absolutely need your DNS records. That means both the A record and the PTR record ready to go. You'll need a place for this thing to live, right? So a target ESXi host or even an existing vCenter. And of course, you have to make sure you've got the minimum resources and that time is synced up with NTP. And look, these aren't just suggestions. They are absolutely deal breakers. Okay, so looking at that list, what's your gut feeling? Which one of those seemingly simple little items do you think is the number one reason these deployments fail? Go on, take a guess. If you guessed DNS, you are 100% correct. I really can't stress this enough. If that installer can't find the name you gave it, both forward and backward, the whole process just stops dead in its tracks. The mission fails before it even gets off the ground. So seriously, get your DNS admin a coffee, double-check those records, and then you can proceed. And let's chat about those resources for a second. Just look at this number, 14 gigabytes of RAM. And that's the bare minimum for even a tiny deployment. The moral of the story here? Don't skimp. Give this appliance the resources it needs to actually breathe. All right, our prep work is finally done. It's go time. Welcome to stage one. The best way to think about this part is that we're laying the foundation and putting up the walls for our new command center. We are literally building the virtual machine that will become our vCenter. The process itself is pretty straightforward. You fire up the installer from that ISO you downloaded, you point it to the ESXi host where it's going to live, give the VM a name and a root password, pick its size, and this is a big one, give it all the static IP and network details. And this right here is a really key distinction to make. When stage one is finished, you do not have a working vCenter. Not yet. What you have is a powered-on virtual appliance that has an IP address. The building structure is up, but it's completely empty inside. The real magic? That happens next. And that brings us to stage two. So if stage one was building the structure, stage two is all about installing the plumbing, the electricity, the HVAC. This is where we turn that empty virtual machine into a fully functional, ready-to-go vCenter server. Here's a super simple way to look at it. Stage one gives you the box. Stage two configures all the important services that run inside that box. Understanding this two-stage process is vital if you ever have to troubleshoot a problem. You'll know exactly which half of the deployment went wrong. So what goes down in stage two? Well, you'll confirm your time sync settings again, and then you'll make the single most important decision of the entire process, creating a new single sign-on domain or joining one that already exists. That SSO domain is the absolute heart of your vSphere security. Once you make that choice, you just review everything and let the installer finish the job. Now, clicking through that pretty graphical installer is definitely the most common way to do this, but it's not the only way. For all you folks who live and breathe on the command line, or for those who need to deploy vCenters at scale, there are other tools for the job. You can really see the trade-off here, can't you? The GUI is fantastic. It's your best friend for your first deployment or just a one-off build. It's simple, it holds your hand. But what if you need to deploy 10 vCenters or 100, all with the exact same settings? That is where the CLI becomes your hero. It's way faster, it's perfectly repeatable, and it's built for automation. So the CLI method uses the simple text file, a JSON file, that you just fill out with all your settings, the IP address, the host name, the SSO domain, the whole shebang. You feed that file to the installer, and boom, it does the rest. And hey, for those of you working in a VMware Cloud Foundation environment, it's even easier. The SDDC Manager just handles the entire vCenter deployment for you, automatically. So as we wrap this up, if you take only one single thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. It doesn't matter if you use the GUI, the CLI, or some big automated platform. Your success or failure is decided long before you ever run that installer. Your DNS, your network, your target host, that preparation truly is everything. So there you have it. Your shiny new command center is online. The deployment mission is a success. But honestly, this is just the beginning. Getting vCenter deployed opens up a massive new world of possibilities for managing and automating your infrastructure. So the real question isn't about the deployment. It's, what are you going to automate next?